Guys, welcome to Watch Graps With Me. Welcome to a very special episode. This is our 20th episode of Watch Graps, lads. Holy shit.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's the big 2-0.
For once, I have alcohol.
Same here.
For once.
Works, isn't it? So, sorry, folks, if you're only seeing a three-man team at the moment. There will be four at some point during this recording.
The soul man shall cometh.
He does. The fashionably late Gerry Soul, as always, and we are on a terribly tight schedule. So sorry if this is a one-part or if you're waiting for the juicy finale to this. But no, I think
we may do a part two with different wrestlers, because honestly,
we could. Yeah, we could.
There's a plethora of choices for this particular subject.
Yes, it is.
That we're
Dennis,
definitely.
would you like to share with the rest of the class what you picked for our loop this week?
Yeah, and I didn't know, but for our 20th episode, I think this is great because honestly, it's one I've wanted to do for a long time because it's something I have loved for the longest time, from the days of Wrestle Crap and all that stuff that I used to love reading. This is, in our opinion, the worst gimmicks in wrestling. Now, as I said, this is our opinion and this is what we picked, and but as I just said, there's such a plethora to pick from. I think we purposely tried to stay away from the obvious ones, like Gooker, Red Rooster, fucking Kerwin White. They're all a bit easy. So we went with other ones. I was stuck myself between several of them. So I think, if this one goes great, I would love to do another part of this.
Oh, I think we will.
I think there's such a choice. And there's so many different ways that you can talk about it too, as in, was it just an objectively bad gimmick? Or was it bad because, the wrestler's career never recovered from this particular gimmick? A la Mike Awesome.
Yes.
Who was an amazing wrestler. I thought, just gifted big man with such agility and everything, and he came in to WCW specifically
and was crucified.
Well, he came in with a great gimmick, the career killer, fantastic. But
Which
then
is
he got made
because he basically killed his own career in that.
Then he got made the Fat Chick Thriller, which I could only imagine how that would flux today.
Career killer.
That 70s guy.
And then even worse, that 70s guy. So, there's lots of different directions you could go with this. So I am very excited for this episode. As I said, this is something I love cringing in general. So this to me is just a fantastic.
It's up your alley then, yeah. Well,
hell yeah.
Well, I think the best way of doing this then
have you seen my gimmick? It's pretty fucking cringy too.
We've all seen the promos, lads. We've all seen the promos. But either way, I think the best way of doing this is I'm just going to call it the name of the gimmick, and then whoever is responsible for bringing up this mess will share with the rest of the class. So we're going to start off tonight's video with beaver cleavage. Dennis,
that was me.
Explain yourself.
Me.
So, what's there to say about beaver cleavage? My God, right? Even the name. So, we all remember the headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher.
Yes.
Who, pretty standard gimmick, I suppose, at the time. But when Thrasher got injured and got put on the shelf for, I think, the guts of a year, maybe a bit more, as opposed to kind of what they do a lot of time now, which is take the other tag team partner off TV, they decided to repackage Mosh. Now, this particular gimmick was relatively short-lived. I can't quite remember how long it was, but I think it was only a month or two, maybe even less.
For good reason.
And then he was repackaged again as Chaz. And they went into a domestic abuse act, which is just a whole other fucking kettle of fish.
Yeah.
But beaver cleavage. So beaver cleavage promos started airing in the style of something we didn't have in Ireland, but very popular sitcom in the States back in the day, Leave It to Beaver.
Yes.
So the old style kind of, what are you doing over there? That kind of thing in black and white.
Yeah.
Where the mother and the son, who was beaver cleavage, Chaz, Mosh, whatever you want to call him, would be in this family home, and she'd be making dinner for him and all that, and there was so much sexual innuendo.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it was incestuous sexual innuendo, because I remember distinctly this one line. Now, I purposely haven't gone back and looked at a lot of this stuff, but I do remember one line. And he spills something on himself. Or the mother spills something. Something is spilled, okay?
Yes.
I think it's on him. And she goes over and she's like dabbing him, and she goes, "Oh, nobody likes a messy beaver." And that was the entire punchline for the promo. So, Mrs. Cleavage.
Because she is a Mrs., of course.
Sorry, just the name. Mrs. Cleavage was actually his, was Mosh's real life girlfriend / wife.
Oh.
And when he became Chaz, she would be his girlfriend / wife. Just ignoring that she was his mother a few weeks earlier.
Role-playing, Dennis. They were role-playing.
Yes, so, consenting adults and all that stuff, do what you like. That's cool. But my nomination for worst gimmick, because the cringe. Oh, my lord, the cringe, the incestuous overtones, everything, just awful. And but I will say, not a terrible wrestler. So, my choice for the worst gimmick is Beaver Cleavage, and we're going to view his debut match, which was against the one and only Christian. Brood era Christian. So we get to hear the fantastic Brood music with the Brood entrance and all that stuff. And we'll even get to see Emo Hardy Boys with Michael Hayes.
Oh, lads, here you're trying to like take points off yourself here now. Come on, like. Don't be...
So, with that said, folks, if you would like to watch along with us, please do find all the links down below in the description. Click them and watch along with us and all that. Let us know what you think of them too, and what you think your worst gimmicks are. When we come along to do a part 2, we'll probably include them because there's so many to go through. But without further ado, if you guys are ready, I'll count us in.
Go for it, yeah.
Go 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, that music. Brood,
I already
baby.
got the point because of the Brood music. Because again, we're going reverse scoring for this. So the higher the score, the worst.
Oh, look at that entrance, baby.
One of the various pieces of music you can enjoy in our World Cup of Themes that we did a couple of weeks ago, lads.
One of the rare times that you actually just see one of them come up in that entrance.
Yep.
Because it's always the group.
Well, this was kind of...
Even though he has the long hair and looks like any of the 3 people of the Brood, you can tell it's Christian just by the way he's walking. Like he has a song.
He's just short of doing that, like, you know?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
But one of the things as well is this was, and you see this a lot, you don't see this a lot in debuts because this was Beaver Cleavage's debut, but they were using it to further the Brood storyline that they were having with the Hardy Boys at the time, which would of course turn into one of the all-time classic feats.
It says a lot about like.
Listen to the music. Shut up. Look at that face. Look at that face. Oh my god.
Wow, Walter really struggled in his first few years, didn't he?
Look at him, the hat with the propeller on it.
Little baby Walter.
Not gonna lie, this just
screams... sorry, did you just hear the King?
No, I don't want to hear the King.
They're still talking about it. He just goes, I like Beaver. This is just made for innuendo, like, that's all it is. Look at them.
I was about to say, like, this gimmick just screams that it was like stolen from probably Jim Cornette or something. It's
the fucking Russo one.
Oh, sorry, Harry Cleavage, Harry Beaver Cleavage.
Harry Cleavage, of course.
Why am I not surprised that it's Harry? Harry Beaver.
I'm surprised it wasn't just fucking Dick, to be honest.
Well, you see, now, when you actually see him in ring, though, because it is Mosh, and they did have a pretty solid career, he's not a bad red. Like, he can go. He's like, he's never liked...
We're not judging him on the wrestling ability, we're judging him on the idea of the character.
Yeah.
So why we have to be kind of specific about this.
That's actually a very good point. We do need to be specific about it. We can't judge on the wrestling ability.
Yeah.
On the character, on the look, that's what we're dealing with. Is that a lesser spot of Teddy Long as our referee tonight?
Is it? Oh, it is, you know.
Yes, it is.
That was a beautiful face buster by Christian.
Where'd he go?
Oh, look, she's getting up.
Mrs. Cleavage getting on the apron there to get a little closer look. I guess she's protecting her son's investment. Wow.
Nice. One of my pet peeves when I'm working with people in like who are wrestling or if I'm watching it is seeing them go for a headlock, and then obviously like for the send off, the guy lets go of the headlock to
Before the push.
to get the ropes.
Yeah.
Like realistically, like you never let go of the headlock. Like you have the headlock in, and you get pushed back. You hit the ropes. It's up to them.
Look at this.
It's up to them to guide you.
Yeah.
Like and make sure you don't fall through the rope.
Oh.
So.
That was damn good.
Yeah.
That was good, wasn't it? That was really nice. That kind of flying shoulder tackle.
Fancy's mother, isn't it?
It's got to be really annoying to wrestle with a tie on.
Yeah.
I know, ask RIRS. He'd have to do with the tie and braces.
He did that for 20 years.
Oh, what's she doing?
He sweat like fuck.
Oh, she's scolding him because she's the mother.
the
Oh,
mother.
okay. All right. Okay. I
Oh,
get it now.
that'll teach him.
I gave him a stern talking to.
To be fair, that would affect a lot of wrestlers because like, most of them are like fucking 18. They're like, yeah, stop it. Go to your room. No. So you're
I
home.
feel
No.
weird.
Wrestling. Be a wrestler.
I'm confused.
My mother. That match will go down here tonight as well.
This is just the battle of the white shirts, isn't it?
Oh, love that reverse DDT.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing match. This is pretty damn smooth.
That's what I was saying. Like, you have two, like, again, Christian is far better than, I'm not going to call him Beaver, Mosh, right?
Okay.
But Mosh is solid. Like, he's not going to light the world on fire, but he's a solid worker. He's a solid hand, you know? Was that a frog elbow?
Yeah, frog elbow.
That's a spotted.
Oh, here we go. Emo Hardys.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Hardy's
that is nasty.
A reverse suplex as a finish.
That's very nice though. But damn, Hayes just lit him up there.
But look at it. Hayes looks like he's in great condition there still.
He does look like the most divorced dad out there. Like if you combine the energy of all like escaped dads, that's what Michael Hayes looks like right there.
It's just for a debut. I think it's weird to use a debut to further another story.
Notice how he didn't want to take a bump either.
No, fuck that, yeah. Let the fucking emos take that shit. Oh, Jesus. On the cane and all.
The Hardy Boys, under the guidance, if you want to call it that, of Michael Hayes.
That's scary though. Like Hayes
And here
does
comes
actually
the
look really
Brood.
good there.
Is Edge in a t-shirt? Edge, that is not the Brood uniform.
He's also in his own tights. Where's his poofy shirt, young man?
He wasn't meant to wrestle.
Okay.
That's what it is. He wasn't meant to wrestle. That's why he's in a t-shirt.
Yeah. Aha. He escaped. The fools.
So there we have it. lads. Stop it there, obviously, because Beaver is gone. So, yeah, with that, Beaver cleavage. I would love to hear your thoughts. Foxy, would you like to start us off here?
Gimmick is terrible. It's fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's like, brilliant fucking start. We're talking about shit as gimmicks, so like, yeah, like.
Yeah. Like, I'll just let the folks at home know. Like, I was humming and hawing because I thought it was very WWE heavy. Now, that's for obvious reasons, right? WWE's the biggest company. They've been around for the longest and all that stuff, so they probably have a lot of gimmicks. But I was looking at the likes of the Johnsons and TNA and stuff like that. But the Johnsons have apparently been scrubbed from the internet, so I couldn't find any matches to watch from them. But it kind of came down. I was to and fro between this and a few others that I'll kind of save in my back pocket in case we do further parts.
Yes,
I'll pull them out. But I just thought that for me, it just had the hallmarks. The gear is stupid. Mm-hmm. The idea is stupid. There was in no way was this ever going to get over.
No,
like it just wasn't ever.
That's an example of a gimmick that's dead on arrival. You could tell from the crowd.
Yes. So that's kind of that was my thinking behind it. So that I'll hand it back to you now, Foxy, for your whole thing.
So like like they basically like what you said. It's like it's dead on arrival. Like it no one wanted to be into it. No one, like they may have known like the guy like Chaz, but like this gimmick was not something that endeared himself to them, like to the fans, and it creepy, like creepy in the wrong way.
What is it about like WWE and trying to introduce incest to everything? Like there's been
Vince McMahon loves that shit. He loves that shit.
I know there is. I know that goes without saying, but really,
to him that's good shit.
Everything's good shit.
At least with this one, they had the sense to pull it much earlier than they did like Katie Lee Burchill.
That's another one we can talk about. But scoring wise, I do have a remote scoring here from the man to know, Gerry Soul. He simply puts it quite poignantly. He says 10. Very, very bad.
Fair enough.
Dennis, you're off to a good start.
So Gerry Soul has scored Beaver Cleavage 10 out of 10 for worst gimmicks. So Foxy, what do you think?
It is pretty bad. So it's a high A for me.
8. Ooh, okay. Interesting. I'm gonna go in the halfway house here and say 9. And again, kind of like not to say I didn't know what Beaver Cleavage was. Of course, I'm a man of. Of course, I didn't know what beaver cleavage.
You're a worldly type.
I'm a worldly man. I've seen many beavers and cleavages in my time, but never in the same room.
You're a wrestling historian.
Yes, but the thing is, like, I wasn't actually. I loved the fact that like the gimmick was so bad, was so shit, and so pointless that it was used as a plot device for a bigger, more important feud that people were cared about more. So, like, if you're going out there and going, "Oh, I hope this really gets over," did it get over? I don't fucking know. I wasn't paying attention. I was watching the Hardys. Okay, fair enough then. I'll just fuck off then, will I?
Yes, please do that.
Please do that. So Dennis, you're off to a pretty damn good start at 27 out of 30.
Nice.
Let's see if anyone can match that tonight with the gimmicks we have.
So I do believe our next one is.
Next one.
Would you like to do it? Will I do it?
I will call out the name, and whoever takes ownership of it first. Pirate Paul Burchill. Right, you have the floor, Foxy.
So, the gimmick is terrible. Like it is terrible. It's a pirate, like a stereotypical like pirate gimmick. But
yes.
Back in like 2005, 6, I adored this. I absolutely adored it.
Me
too. This
Me
is
too.
actually
I loved it.
Genuinely, this is my guilty pleasure, like gimmick. Like
I'm sorry, but his entrance was fucking brilliant.
Yes, but the lead up to it, to the gimmick was just like, okay, I'm related. Like my ancestors were like related to Blackbeard.
It was Francis Drake.
There
Francis
you go.
Drake was El Draco was the one who he was related to, which is like one of the like biggest like fucking invaders of Latin America. It's like, well, that's going
And
to
he
gravitate
wanted
your
to
audience,
represent his heritage.
Hooray! Hooray for colonialism.
He's just like,
And it definitely had nothing to do with Jack Sparrow.
Never.
that wasn't around at the time.
Yes,
oh wait,
it was.
it was.
It was.
Sorry,
And
apologies.
he was doing a carbon copy of Jack Sparrow. Like,
Clearly, it was a rip-off.
he was doing
Guy
hello, how you doing? He was doing the drunken fucking Keith Richards pirate.
Yeah.
Although, in fairness to him, like that, when he reintroduced himself as the pirate, he literally just walked up to like Kennedy, was like, "Hello," walked away,
Yeah,
and then walked to the other guy and was like, "Hello," walked away, and that was it. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
and this is yet another example of, more so than Chaz, Paul Burchill was a fucking great wrestler,
Yeah,
uber talented, and he
was one
kept
of the
getting
only guys
stuck
that
with
was-
this stuff.
yeah. I was about to say, like, he kept
Like
getting,
straight
like,
out with this, he went into the incest stuff.
yes, and then he went into another mask gimmick, the Ripper.
That's right, yeah.
So,
Jesus, yeah. Fuck.
So yeah, Foxy. Without further ado, would you like to count us in as we observe Pirate Paul Burchill's debut match?
sure.
In his natural habitat.
So, for those
I will
at
say
home,
that the still of the video is very deceiving when it has Kurt Angle holding the world title over. You're like, oh my
Yeah.
god, we're going to see an Angle match.
Oh, that's a lie.
so for those that are ready, 3, 2, 1, play. And keep in mind, like, his debut was against William Regal.
Yeah, on paper, this could be a fucking stormer of a match.
Yeah.
William
British
Regal
Derby,
versus Paul Burchill.
Two very, very good wrestlers in their own right.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why I picked this one is, like, now, yes, it's the debut of the pirate gimmick, but in terms of like establishing a character from the offset, like on his first match, like, you had a great foil in Regal. He's essentially like, okay, the Paul Tracy and the gimmick. Like, this guy's a joke. This guy's a joke. Ha 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 ha. Please don't make fun of him as he comes out. It's like, but through the course of the match, people are getting behind him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is he's kind of he's getting the other guy's gimmick over by doing it like, well, you're going to go over tonight, so I'm going to denigrate your gimmick, but then you're going to shut me up because you know that's what you're going to do. You know, it's a way of doing it. We also, can I just say, I think this may be one of the very few times we have the rare Taz on commentary.
If he comes here tonight,
Wow.
won't be an embarrassment anymore.
Okay, yeah, we haven't actually had many matches with Taz on commentary.
No.
It says a lot that we're waiting until 2006. There he is. Here's the entrance. Well, it looks like Seth Rollins there.
What a great... Yeah, look at that smile.
Like, just the look, and then just like swing, like whee. The fact that he made it into a SmackDown v Raw game.
Yes, and rightfully so, because everyone will want to do this entrance. Now the trouble with this
No, it is
right?
Blackbeard. It's a Blackbeard descendant.
Blackbeard, okay. Right, because
Yeah.
that's just actually wrong then. But fair enough, okay. Francis Drake is at least English. I think Blackbeard's Welsh. So,
I don't think they were going to be looking at accuracy here, Jonathan. Like,
all I ask for is some
he's
consistency.
throwing out treasure,
Yes.
and he has a fucking sword. Look at Regal's face.
Face for the sword. It's like, no.
What I find is, I don't know what it was, but I see one thing I always remember about this entrance is that like, obviously the swinging from the rope gimmick, but he also like kind of just like slows down too much. Like he tries to stretch it there way too much, but he should be like, ha ha. Like he didn't show the charm of it. You know what I mean? He went a kind of different way with it, and that was kind of, you can see he wasn't really that invested in it, which is a shame.
But I will say, gear and look-wise,
Brilliant.
he looks great.
Absolutely. This is the thing. The look is perfect.
Yeah.
It was course for course, but he wasn't in it. His heart wasn't in it. You could tell. It was like means to an end for him. Well, hang on, tickets on sale this Saturday.
For me, like, I'm not gonna lie, like I liked him that much that when I did start my training to be a wrestler, I actually did copy his finish for a good while.
C4.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I actually did that like for a good while. It's because back then I could actually flip.
Back in the days, I could flip.
Back then I was a skinny cunt. I was 8.5 stone. I was like, yeah, of course I
Some
can fucking flip.
beautiful like chain work
I think
here.
I was 8.5 stone when I was 4. I'm skinny.
I know. Now I'm well over 15. So
I'd have to been in a coma for
Foxy.
2 years to get to that weight. Oof.
now what I will say for this match is that like it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but you can definitely tell that Regal is leading it.
Ah, yeah.
Like there are a couple of fumbles, but like Regal covers it up so
I
well.
can't imagine any William Regal match where he's not leading, to be honest with you.
Look at that for a clever offense, like a reverse.
I can't imagine.
like a reverse full Nelson.
Yeah. I just can't imagine ever going into the ring with Regal and attempting to lead him. And I don't think anybody would do that. Do you know what I mean? That was really just move out of the way. Brilliant.
Yep.
It's stuff like that I like when it's more realistic. It's like, why would he just stay there? No, he just move out of the fucking way, and your man will just jump over and look like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
But it's a great way, like, of okay, he's after moving out of the way because he probably didn't hear the spot, but he covered it up, so you didn't
completely.
know.
Yeah.
Well, so Regal is always kind of someone who will always have a plan B anyway. As if he's one of the guys who is able to do a match off the cuff if he needs to. You know, where some people
because he can shoot like no one else. So I mean, if he needs to, he can put somebody in a lock and get their place back.
That's
Well,
the
not
thing,
only
when
that,
you have a great technical base like he does, so like that stuff is kind of easy in a sense. You know, for him at least. For others, it's so fucking difficult.
Like Regal went through all those camps, like in England, like just off the cuff, like just like okay, let's go out and work. Like if stuff happens, but we can adapt.
How's his son doing, by the way? Because I thought he's in NXT UK now, isn't he? Is he on TV yet, or what's the crack?
No, he's not on TV yet. Not that I'm
Is
aware
he?
of anyway.
He's not there yet. Do you imagine how good that kid is going to be?
Oh, Lord. Like,
We don't know yet. We've had like second generation come in and they're not.
That's true. Eric Watts. Who very nearly was my fucking selection in Techno Team 2000.
Jesus.
There's a blast from the past. Do you remember Techno Team 2000?
I do.
I tried not
Yeah.
to.
Unfortunately.
Eric Watts, the man with the magical drop kick.
But like, yeah, like I am excited. Like if he is like, oh, there we go.
C4.
Yeah. Whoa, boom.
I don't know why it is, but like I know John Morrison does that move as well, but Paul Burchill does it so fucking smoothly.
I may be wrong, but wasn't that Paul Burchill's? Like, didn't he come up with that?
Yeah.
He came up with that move, yeah, and Morrison has used it when he first finished, yeah.
It's been used to death now, like the
It's used in
transferred
every
to be
indie
a
show.
Spanish fly from the top rope and all that now.
But it's the arc he has when he's doing it. Like, let's see it again now.
Yeah, he made it
Okay,
look more
that's
like
not
a
the best
driver.
example.
He made it look
Yeah.
more like a driver.
But it's a leg lock on top of it. Like, whereas some people just can't do a freestanding.
I mean, if you think about it, much like a Canadian destroyer, it's ridiculous. You know, obviously it wouldn't
Oh,
work.
yeah, the
But
mechanics
that's part of the Christy Marshall and Gillian Hall.
Wow. 2006 SmackDown, folks. Let's never speak of it again.
Who the fuck was Christy Marshall? I don't remember Christy Marshall. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Foxy, I'll take the lead on this one.
Go for it. Well, like I can rate it.
Pirate Paul. I'm not gonna lie. I, much like you, I liked it back in the day. So I have a little bit of a soft spot. So I'm trying to kind of put that to the side and try and look at it fairly. And as I said in it, I think his look was great. He looked the part. Like beaver cleavage looked the part, but it looked ridiculous. I wouldn't have said Pirate Paul looked ridiculous. Do you get me? He looked still like a wrestler, you know? The entrance was still cool as shit. I'm sorry. You're not going to convince me otherwise. It's a cool fucking entrance. For what it was, yeah, it's a bad gimmick. But I have to say it did get over to a degree at least. I mean, it got over with me and it got over with you, Foxy. I'm going to say I think he carried it off well. I think it by no means, it's not a gimmick he was ever going to win a world title with or probably any title with. But I think he did the best with what he had. And I'm going to say a 6. Now again, maybe my love for it is fogging it up a little bit, but I just think he made the best of a bad situation, and I think there was some redeeming qualities in there that I genuinely enjoyed. The entrance, the look, I liked them, you know. Now maybe I'm gone insane, but you know that's what I think. Jonathan,
I'm going to go on a limb here and say I like Pirate Paul Burchill. It's actually my favorite iteration of him, to be honest with you. So I will say I was kind of a surprise to see him make this group, but in a sense I can see why he is, because it is inherently a bad gimmick and it's a rip-off of Jack Sparrow and so forth. But then again, like, what wrestling gimmick isn't the rip-off of a movie or a franchise as it is? I mean, The Undertaker is literally ripped off every fucking Western that has a dead person in it. You know, so when you boil everything down to it, there's a lot of aspects. And Booker T is literally taken from the soul singer Booker T. Like, what can you do? You know, but nevertheless, the thing about it is that this kind of summarizes that era of SmackDown for me, which I would have watched a lot. And then I'm looking now at myself, 29 years old, and you could have done so much more with your life than watch the worst variations of SmackDown. But here you are. And the thing is with that is, like, Paul Burchill was one of the highlights for me. Honestly, he was, because the character was good. Again, perhaps not being an expert in Pirates of the Caribbean, but I got what it was going for. I knew what the gimmick was, and a pirate in that time would have worked quite well because it was intentionally at a place. It was a gimmick. You could tell it was a gimmick.
Yeah.
And everyone around the roster knew it was a gimmick. So everyone kind of in on the joke, which is what I liked. The entrance is great, as Dennis said. I loved the throwing away the jewels. That was great fun as well. And the finisher is brilliant. The C4 is a fantastic finisher, and thankfully hasn't been overused because it's now called Spanish Flies instead. So it's like the kind of thing where, like, yeah, we just think of Spanish Flies instead. So I'm going to have to mark this harshly because I really like this gimmick. I'm going to give it a 4 because, like, I honestly do think it's not inherently a bad gimmick. I just think if Paul Burchill actually was invested in it himself, I think this could have worked a lot more.
I think this could be a first. This could be the lowest scoring one we've ever had. This could be a first.
It could be, because, again, I also have Gerry Soul's remote scoring here. He says, I liked Burchill. I love Pirates of the Caribbean, but it just didn't stick. He says 5. It's a 5 out of 10 from Gerry Soul. So, yeah, overall, Foxy, it's a 15 out of 30. So well done.
Hey.
You'll probably have the best gimmick out of all of us here.
Yes.
So I don't think you know it's not necessarily to say you're losing this round. You're probably winning overall. So in the moral victory,
Plus, we got to see William Regal versus Paul Burchill. That's not a bad thing.
you can't say fair.
Exactly.
You know, that's
Yeah.
a nice palate cleanser from beaver cleavage.
It is, and now and the palates will continue to be cleansed, ladies and gentlemen, because now we move on to our next gimmick, Imposter Kane. This is Gerry Soul's pick, and hopefully he'll be joining us midway while we're watching this match, and we can get an explanation from the horse's mouth why he picked this. But I can hazard a guess, really. If I was to take Jerry's word from it, like it was a bad idea. It was May 19th again. They tried to do something different with it, and it was
I'm gonna say, unlike, I'm using it as reference again. Unlike beaver cleavage, I think the idea could have been good, but with different casting. Like the guy that they had, it was Gallows.
It was Gallows.
But he didn't have the same physique. He didn't have the same he had the height, anything as Kane. And there was that one. This may be the infamous one where the wig is terrible. Now, in a future appearance, I do know that the wig was much better, but by then the damage had been done. I think it could have been a good gimmick. Like, it could have been interesting. You know, we did see, imposter thing, that's been done several times. We had Taker obviously doing it with much better casting. I think that might have been Bryan Adams, was it?
Bryan Adams.
One.
Bryan Adams.
Yeah. And then you had the Sin Cara one as well, more recently.
Who was better than the original. Like, in terms
Who
of
got
WWE,
to be the real Sin Cara in the end.
Yeah. Which is strange because, like, that was actually, like, Mystico was his actual original name.
Yeah.
And the guy stole the name.
Yeah.
So,
but Hunico was just objectively better.
Yes.
Yeah.
He better fit the WWE stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jerry, it is good to see you, my man.
I'm so
How
sorry.
are you doing?
I'm so sorry I'm so late, but it was the first kind of family party that's happened in about 2 years. Hadn't seen anyone for so long, and I was like, I'll stay for one more minute. Like 10 minutes later, I'll say, well, one more minute, and another 10 minutes go by, and one more minute.
Oh,
like,
we know how
like,
it
would
goes.
Would you not say? I was like, I can't. I have to go. I have a podcast, and then make.
Look, the important thing is you're here now, Jerry. And you're here just in time. So to keep you up to date, we know you've been scoring via WhatsApp with Jonathan, but
yes,
we have viewed the magnificent, incestuous love that is beaver cleavage. We have seen the swashbuckling pirate Paul Burchill, which is a record for this channel. He has scored the lowest score that we've ever had.
Because we all liked him.
Because we all liked the gimmick.
Yeah.
We all liked Pirate Paul. I think Beaver is at 27 out of 30, I think. So he's very, very high up there. And we're about to go into Kane versus Imposter Kane. And when you joined us, we were just talking about how I think it's a premise that's been done several times much better with fake Taker, fake Sin Cara, all this stuff. It's been done much better. So I think the premise, unlike the likes of Beaver Cleavage, which was dead on arrival, the premise could have been good, and I think maybe with different casting, because there was now, and again, I was mentioning to guys, so I'll just repeat it here. There was one scene where he came out, he was wearing it was Gallows, but he was wearing a terrible wig. And I know later on when we're finishing this angle up, they had replaced the wig with a much better one, and it looked much, much better, but the damage was done at that stage. So
yeah.
I think the premise may have worked, but the execution was definitely lacking. So with that, Jerry, over to you for your reasons as to why you may have picked this one.
Right. Well, the idea, and as you say, the premise was good. The idea was good. And you have to look back to the start of the 90s when they did Taker versus Taker. And I kind of look back and say, how did I feel about that? Because I was a kid at the time. I would have been about 9 or 10 at the time. And I just remember, everything to do at that angle was fantastic. they did, you know, every now and then you get like the bong, and you're like, oh, is he coming back? And then Paul Bearer. But what I think made it for me was that the hype videos, all these videos that you come, and then Leslie Nielsen doing an investigation to find the real Undertaker. So it brought that comedy, but you're like, they've really thought about this. This is really good. Leslie fucking Nielsen, this is absolutely amazing. So all the hype. Now, the match itself wasn't great with Taker versus Taker.
No.
But you can excuse that because we were getting the original Undertaker back. We were getting the real Undertaker. The hype, everything that came with it was fantastic. Then
you had Brian Lee, who looked a lot like him.
Exactly. The look was very similar. You've got him wearing the grey, and then you've got, of course, Mark, the Undertaker, wearing the purple. They've got the really long hair, and there's like no fringe. It's just right down the front. Really, very, very close to the same size comparison, the whole lot. It just looked fantastic. Absolutely everything. I love Paul Bearer, and then everyone goes on about Paul Bearer's facial reactions, but I think the facial reactions of Ted DiBiase during this match are
shit.
oh shit, is actually the real Undertaker. Absolutely brilliant. Fast forward to Kane versus Kane, and you're like, doesn't have that same feel. And I like what you said, the damage had been done when you first see the imposter Kane coming out. I said to myself, did Luke Gallows even look at some videos of how Kane walked or his mannerisms or anything like that? Because he did none of it. He did the tilt the head, but it was so over exaggerated. I'm like, you're going to strain your fucking neck if you go any further. The horrible wig, like the gear was fine. The mask itself was fine. I think it was like maybe a third or fourth generation style mask. It didn't match completely with the original Kane, but everything was just like the hair was horrible, and the mannerisms, everything. Like even him getting over the top rope wasn't the same as normal Kane, and you're like, this is just terrible. I can't even remember how long it lasted, but it didn't last very long. The match they had,
it was promotional for the movie, for the See No Evil too.
That's right. But the match they had, I thought, like the first, there was more than one, wasn't there?
There was two. The one we're watching at the moment is the one from Vengeance, and then the next week after was when Imposter Gang gets thrown out. That was on Raw. So
and it was so like he beats him, throws him through the door, rips off the mask, throws him through the door. That's it.
That's mine.
Well, that's shit.
That was them cutting the fucking cord. They wanted to end that angle.
Now, for me, if they had done something along the lines of, like the way he said, that's mine, and he puts the fucking mask back on.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I could get on board with that, but they didn't do anything like that.
That actually could have been a good redemption for that angle, actually. Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's genuinely where I thought that they were going with it at the time. They were thinking like, oh shit, Kane's putting the mask back on. Oh, people.
It does make you wonder what was the original end game.
That's what we'll have to figure out from the match, I suppose, where they were trying to go with this. I think they had like the initial like premise and then didn't work out the meat and bones of it. But like I said, we'll kind of get into it as we're watching it.
Yeah.
So, Gerry, with that, would you like to count us in if you are ready?
3, 2, 1.
Let's do it.
Away. Slow Chemical.
Banger theme songs are saving the videos here.
Yeah, we've had The Brood. We've had William Regal's brilliant evil theme.
And the custom sets for pay-per-views. Back when they gave a shit. That's
Man, he's such a scary fucker back then.
Yeah.
I think he's a politician now is really fucking funny. Like, imagine trying to disagree with him at a town hall meeting. Set the fucker on fire. Like that is not something.
Sorry, I do love putting in the original music.
Yes.
As well.
Do you know what you find out little details like as you're growing up? It's like you think you're deadly because you found out like something that you're not supposed to know. It's like when I seen him on The Weakest Link. Like,
they fixed the wig. They fixed the wig in this one.
In full Gimmick, I was like, this is weird, because like he wasn't properly like, very rarely talked, and then Ann Robinson is talking to him.
Yes.
It's so weird, but then you find out it's like, yeah, he's actually
He's ultra intelligent.
He's like a former English teacher.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's scary.
I didn't know
Now,
that.
folks,
Jesus.
He actually
watching
won
this,
that weakest thing, as I recall. He actually won the whole lot.
I think so, yeah.
folks watching this, you may not see what we were talking about with this, because the wig they have on him here is not the one we were talking about. The wig they have on him here is infinitely better than the one he debuted with. If you haven't seen it, please do go look it up. When he was first revealed, it was this poofy, awful thing.
Yeah.
The one they have him on here is
It's
actually
better,
is good. They fixed it, but as I said, damage was done at this stage. Nobody was into this angle.
The one thing I will say is that the wig here actually looks really well, and
Yeah.
to me, it's better than the wig he wore in the latter half. That with the newer mask over the last couple of years.
Yes,
It's
Yes.
much better. It's much better. It's fuller.
Mm.
Yeah,
you
honestly,
you can
it's
tell
a
I'm
really
really the
good
fucking
one.
hairdresser when I say shit like that.
No, but it's honestly, this is a real one. Like, if I didn't know that's Luke Gallows and he's as bald as fucking me under there, like, you'd think that was his real hair.
Funny we had wigs like that, Dennis.
Yeah.
Then we wrestling.
You see, the worst part about this match, a lot of this match isn't actually that bad. There are some technical things that are good, but you just look at the crowd.
This is what I was saying. It's exactly it. You've the angle is already dead because the debut was so flat.
Yes.
And he looked so stupid on the debut with that wig. I know it sounds stupid harping about wig, but it really did kill it.
It does. It takes you out of the moments. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't do it
Like,
right.
if he debuted looking like this, I think the crowd would have been much more behind this.
Yeah.
Because, he actually looks more like the original Kane. Now, I do see, and it's something I never saw before, what Gerry pointed out, which is, yes, there's a couple of signature moves in there, like the big old sidewalk slam and all that stuff. There's a couple of the basic things. But the movement it's not original Kane. Like, he moved so slow and methodical around the place, and he was always like measuring up everything. I actually see what Gerry's talking about now.
It's always the
It's
little
like he
details.
Yeah, he didn't go back and study original Kane and like see all the slow movements and all this stuff,
Essentially, in a roundabout way, it was a roundabout way of repeating Fake Diesel and Razor.
Yeah.
Like, the lads didn't like research their roles.
Like, what was that move there? That move Kane has never done before. He
No.
never does that move. This is not.
But that's
Kane
what I
does.
mean. You would rarely see Kane unless it was when Taker would give the burst and do that big kind of lariat.
Yes.
You'd see that type of thing very rarely from Kane. He was not really known for like powering around the ring. It's more stalking.
Yes. More to the point, though, when you're saying about the explosiveness, that's the stuff that Brian Lee was doing during Fake Taker. That's what I like.
Yes.
I like why he mentioned that.
Because it
He
was
did
obvious
actually-
Brian Lee studied and probably worked with Calloway to actually get the character down. Now, I'm not saying I don't know. Maybe Luke Gallows did work with Kane to do it and it just didn't take or something like that. I don't know, but I'm not seeing it.
Like, even you pummeling them on the ground, stuff like that, it's not the same way how Kane would do it.
No.
If you look back to when Kane debuted, and everyone's like,
My
this is
favorite
the
debut.
Oh, fantastic. This is The Undertaker's brother. They had similarities, and you could tell that Kane had actually tried to mimic some of the way, some of the things that Undertaker would do. Certain punches and the chop under the throat. I love that chop under the throat.
Chop, yeah.
Absolutely loved that, and that's the Undertaker used to do that, and then Kane adopted it when he first came in. So you can see all these little mannerisms, but they weren't the same person. So
the
there
boring
were always going to
chants
be
from the
differences.
crowd. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ooh, bad sign.
Oh God.
It's painful seeing a match die a death.
Yeah.
Always. It never gets any easier.
Lads just trying to work through it as well. Like, they just.
I always end up feeling bad for the guys working because there's just,
Well, Foxy, I tell you, from when I did reffing, if you ever get those types of chants, there's fucking nothing you can do.
No.
And the only thing you can say to him is like, do you want to finish early? You know, that's the only thing you can think of is, do you want to finish early?
Like
But-
to me, like with obviously because you do get that sometimes with newer people, like when they're having their matches. But like me as a referee, I have to read the crowd, so I kind of dictate the pace as well, especially for younger lads. It's like, okay, they're dying down, start firing up, go into a hope or do this just to try and like minimize like the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Because like you can only do so much though.
Yeah, I think the fact that you're a wrestler as well, Foxy, that is why you make such a good ref, because you can judge.
Have that crossover.
You know exactly what's happening. Like me as a ref, I couldn't judge that properly, but you could judge it, and like the ref should be helping them a little bit more in this match. You're like, come on, lads, you need to.
Yeah,
you need to.
That ref looks extremely uninterested.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit.
Nah, he's
I'm not familiar with that ref, actually.
He's a very good ref, actually. But
Yeah,
it's
I
just
years, yeah.
Is it Chad Patton? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, it is actually Chad Patton. You're right.
He's the one that did the big slide across the whole ring.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
There you go. That's how you remember. It's like not his fucking refereeing work, his fucking slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He couldn't care less
That.
about this match, though. He couldn't care less.
I don't blame him. Like, holy shit, like.
What is this?
This is horrible.
Oh Jesus! What was that?
Oh.
What was that meant to be?
It was. One was thinking.
What was it meant to be?
God knows.
Like that wasn't a soup. What the? I don't even know.
The judo flip.
No, one guy was going for superplex, the other one was going for a backdrop. Like that's, and they both got the wires crossed. It's terrible. Oh,
That's also like people not calling.
No, now's not the time.
Like it's also an example of like not being able to call something on the fly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like people gotten too cushy with doing planning a match and then going out there and hopefully like that's it.
Actually, doesn't he go over? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at the crowd. Oh no, dude, I feel so bad.
there's a guy scratching his neck going, that was really bad. Shit.
Oh,
I miss his cue for the music as well. Luke, mate.
Oh look, yeah, he got the backflip all right.
Yeah, but everyone.
That crowd do not give a single fuck about this match. I've seen more interested crowds watching fucking Alicia Fox versus Kelly Kelly.
Oof.
They were 5-star fucking classics, and I'll hear nothing about them.
All right, Meltzer.
You hear nothing about them.
Exactly it.
Okay, so Jonathan, would you like to take the lead on this one? This utter classic we have.
Here's the thing about it. I remember watching this at the time. Again, 2006 was a hell of a year for bad gimmicks. But the thing about it is that, like, as we were kind of saying in the preamble, this could have been a brilliant little mini fucking like feud, right? But also, it would have been a great way if they felt the Kane character was stale to reignite him with bringing the mask on. And I honestly believed at the time that's where they were going with this. And now in hindsight, I'm thinking back of how they had done it. But again, the initial debut looking so bad that this feud was just dead on arrival and they killed it the next night. Like, what they could have done VNS with the mask. They could have done the whole, like, he's hearing voices, all this sort of stuff. The mask is there, being in play. And then, for some reason, he's out in the ring on the pay-per-view, right, like, looking for something, answers, whatever it is. And that's when you have Imposter Kane come out. And that's when you have the match. And that's when you do the spots. They didn't do that. It was a botch from the start to finish. So for that kind of reason alone is why I'm kind of ranking quite high. Because I feel kind of bad for Luke Gallows in the sense because like he was probably parachuted into this because he looked like Kane essentially, and he didn't have much else to it. Perhaps with short notice and all that. But yeah, just for the disappointment alone, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I think it's a real damn shame that this didn't fly. But at the same point, it was always meant to be a promotional thing. So I guess it works that it didn't that it fell on its arse.
Yeah, like
Fair enough.
it wasn't something that was meant to last long. Like it was just a short-term thing. A lot of people knew that going into it, so I think that's why a lot of people were dejected from it.
Yeah.
They just like they didn't want anything to do with it. It's in terms of like the gimmick. Like the gimmick would have been like it was a tried and true gimmick, but this was a great example of the wrong casting for that role.
Yeah.
And like Glenn Jacobs as Kane, like is Kane, but you can't have any. It's just proof that no one else can do that role properly.
Yeah, very true. You have to have the right person to do it.
So yeah, it is. It's unfortunate because that was probably like his. Apart from being Festus, it was probably like is kind of his little shot just to prove that he was actually a good worker. But no, it's very bad, and I'm going to give it an 8 as well. Like,
All right.
it's very bad.
So, as I said at the start, I won't rehash it. I think it had the makings of being a good gimmick at the start. And I would have been interested to see what their original plan was for it, what they were going to do. You know, with Kane saying, I know who you are and all that stuff. Were they going to have a big reveal of something? We'll never know.
Yeah.
I do remember it at the time, though, and I specifically remember the debut. And I remember, even as a teenager or whatever, laughing my ass off because it looked so fucking hokey. It looked so dumb. Now, not that version we watched was a much better version, but you can see from the crowd reaction that angle was dead. That was that was dead, and that crowd could not have cared less about it. I remember specifically cringing at the time, so I gotta go high. It has to be 8.5. It was. The premise was there. The execution just lacked so much. In that match was much better, but the debut, which, let's face it, lads, a debut on a big stage like that, I mean, your debut has to be really good for a gimmick like that. And it just wasn't. So, yeah, 8.5.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Gerry, you have not upset Beaver Cleavage here at the moment, which I'm sure you're probably happy with anyway. But you are a solid second place with 25 out of 30. So there you go. Luke Gallows went up second again. But we then move on to our main event.
And this next one, I'll do the honors for this one because this is Jonathan's pick. Now, I don't agree with this pick. I'll save for why I don't afterwards. But and that may surprise some people, but because I vividly remember all of this.
Yes.
Right? But I'll save it. But Jonathan's pick is what would be this man's last appearance in a mainstream wrestling company as well. This was the end of his gimmick.
It was literally a career killer.
This was, yes. This is The Undertaker versus Muhammad Hassan at the Great American Bash. And we will discuss
patriotism.
We will discuss it afterwards because I have some different feelings, but I'll allow Jonathan his moment now to introduce it as to why you may have chosen this one.
They brought in a character that was inspired by 9/11.
Enough said.
That's it. No, I don't have to say anything else.
You don't need to say anymore.
Yeah, I don't have to say anymore. And I will say more actually because Muhammad Hassan, God love him, the man who was playing him, also has perhaps the worst timing in wrestling. Not by his own volition, because again, he was touted for a world title match. Again, what people don't remember at this match.
He was also Italian.
He was also Italian, exactly. Muhammad Hassan. No, the thing is with it, right? Like, people don't forget about this match. this was a #1 contenders match between him and The Undertaker, right? So then they had to go, shit, now I have to give Undertaker a title match. Fuck. Right, we just had to nuke this character either way. So around this time, they had done a lot of stuff with that Muhammad Hassan character. He was on Raw for a long time and was getting a major push because of the whole like Boo USA, Down with Arabs horse type of horseshit that was around at that time. And they brought in Davari as well to be his mouthpiece, and he was just like speaking angrily in Arabian. And Davari brought a lot to the character. Don't get me wrong; he was very good in that purpose and made the Hassan character look like a fantastic heel. Here's the thing, though. Again, you do not base like characters off terrorist incidents. Like Sheamus was not brought in as a fucking balaclava man, was he?
Not yet.
Not yet. Give him a chance. Give him a minute.
He's getting there.
The next fucking Demon Balor one comes out to you, come out your black and tans. I don't think so. It's not going to happen. But the thing is, like,
Jesus Christ.
But the thing is, right? So for that, then on top of this, again, you said it's a career killer, and this is why it's a bad gimmick, because it literally ruined the man's career, right? He's no longer a wrestler, and he tried to recover from this, and he couldn't. And the reason that, like, and this is the double-edged sword, if you get it, is if you base a character off terrorism, if more terrorism happens, that character falters. Because literally on the day SmackDown went out in the UK, they had done this spot where The Undertaker and there's a whole lot of like basically like commandos, as it were, in those kind of like weird like black jumpsuits came out and basically used like a piano wire and choked out The Undertaker. That was on the same day of the 7/7 bombings in London, when a lot of people died on the tube. That went out on the same day. And they
now,
had to do
just to say, that's actually the reason the character was nuked.
Yes,
it wasn't that. It was that incident is the reason the character was nuked. It wasn't actually the gimmick in general. It was that.
Yes, but that's my argument. Is that if you do base a character of real life events,
real life
events bite you in the arse, you only have yourself to blame. And because it did destroy a character, and like thankfully Davari survived because he was actually very good in his role. Like, someone had to fall on their sword, and unfortunately Muhammad Hassan was that man. So the fact that like the gimmick was so bad it killed the man's career, I think is the reason why I'm picking this.
Fair. So without further ado, this is our longest one, and folks, I'll say it again, I said it at the top, please, you'll find all the links down below. Please do click them and watch along with us and let us know what you think is the worst gimmick, and if you agree with us or not. With that said, Jonathan, would you like to count us in? We are ready to go.
I would love to. On the count of 3, 2, 1, play. Great theme. Great music to start off, because that is just like it winds people up just hearing that for some reason. Now, again,
cheap heat, baby, cheap heat.
Absolutely. Now these are the guys I was talking about.
Xenophobia.
American rhetoric, but definitely not Republican. Again, just the point.
He's carried to the ring by terrorists.
Yeah, by actual terrorists who, on the day job, bring him around like he's a sheikh, right?
Oh God, dudes!
Imagine the possibility if you'd paired him with the likes of Iron Sheik.
Oh, there was fucking servicemen in the crowd, for Christ's sake.
No, this is the thing. They used to do this with the Great American Bash. They used to give free tickets to military men. That was the whole point of the show for a lot of people for a lot of those years. And then
they
realized,
actually did it for a lot of the pay-per-views. They did,
yeah.
It was just for the.
I am just imagining the poor workers, the local workers who are told, right, lads, here's what you're doing tonight.
Incidentally, this is a complete tangent, but seeing as I mentioned the Ra earlier on, there was this weird show, I think some other clip show was flagging it off, but it was a clip show, it was a TV show I think on the History Channel, comparing the greatest it was like the world's greatest warriors or something. And they basically like the fantasy term of what if such and such face off such and such, and they like term in brackets, right? So this stuff like, like say what happens if the Huns take on the Visigoths, shit like that. One of the brackets was the Taliban versus the IRA.
Must we?
I think I seen this show. They used to have these like battles.
Yes, 5 versus 5. It was
Yeah,
Team Deathmatch.
yeah, I think I seen it.
Oh,
And
I remember that. I don't remember that
Yeah.
particular show, but I don't remember that episode. But I remember the show. They
And
did
you know what
not
happened?
do Taliban
The IRA
Oh, they
fucking
did,
won.
yeah. And the
course they
IRA
did.
won. But you know why the
Of course they
IRA
did.
won? Because they were more like, we'll bomb you over there. Well, the Taliban were like, we'll just run at you with bombs. It's like, you know, like.
Poor strategy overall, lads, to be honest.
If I cannot defeat the Undertaker tonight,
I just love the idea of it was like a World Cup tournament of terrorism. Just like obviously the IRA
Were they offended?
Now, I
probably
will
not.
say he has major heat. Major heat.
Yeah.
But for the wrong reason. Like, again, it always goes to this argument, like whether you think of it for the wrong reason, but they're literally tapping onto a racist undertone in American society, and whether you think that's like genuine or just satirical is down to your point of view. But it's WWE. They don't do satire. They're not smart enough.
Well,
to
I
do
will
satire.
get into this when it comes to the actual scoring thing, but how this gimmick started out towards how it ended was very different in my eyes.
Very true.
And
It kind of come in differently.
Like
but
how it started out, I thought was actually very interesting, and it could have made for a very interesting dynamic of a evil foreign heel,
Yeah.
which is done to death. I actually thought the start of it was really, really good, but
Yeah, again, let's point out, by the way, like Muhammad Hassan, like is an Arab American, right? So it was supposed to be a remark on the fact that like he's an American citizen, but he is being persecuted because he looks Arabian. Now, if they had
Yes.
stayed there, yes, but then don't just.
That's what I'm saying. I actually thought the start of it was very interesting because he was the evil foreign heel, but he wasn't foreign. What he was saying was, no, I'm an American, but your xenophobia
Yeah.
is kind of, you know, so like somehow he was the heel because he was calling out people's xenophobia, but I thought it was a very unique take on that, and it could have been really good, but when it took the kind of blatant terrorism route, which I mean, I don't think there's any other way you can really
No.
You can't come back to
Stay
that. Like, that is a voyage of no return.
If they had guys come out in wearing the same type of turban that he was wearing,
yes,
something along those lines,
that would have been fine.
It would have been a tenth of how bad it was.
Oh,
but
definitely.
When they came out in the military gear, the balaclavas, you're like,
That's what I mean.
lads,
You can't defend that. Like that wasn't. There's no way. Oh, they meant something else. No, it's very obvious what they meant. And even if it wasn't on 7/7, which that's not obviously their fault. That you know,
The circumstance.
horrible tragedy happened. But even if that didn't happen, it was still in bad taste.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now,
Like I said, it was eventually
I'm looking at it there. There was something in the crowd. One of the crowd had a fucking tombstone, and it said 724 on it. I'm like, Jesus, was it like it was up 2 weeks after?
Yeah.
They still continued it on for 2 more weeks. I was like, you should have killed it just on SmackDown.
Yeah.
The fact that it went all the way to pay-per-view, you're like,
Booked themselves through a
I'm
hole.
I'm more
They didn't
shocked.
have to-
I'm more shocked that I actually would have thought that they would have done the terrorist thing on 7/7, but then given the circumstances, just never mentioned that again. But instead, they actually had them carry him out to the ring, etc. So they're not like, you know, it's not like they're ignoring that they did it. They still have the same thing. It's like they're determined to see the angle through, no matter what.
Yeah.
it's Vince McMahon. Of course they did. He doesn't know when to stop.
Oh, he does. That's why he fired so many people.
Yeah.
No, I do know that he did. Muhammad Hassan, I can't remember his real name for the life of me. He's an Italian American. He did wrestle for a while after on the independents,
Yeah.
but not very long at all. And
Yeah.
I don't know if he used the Muhammad Hassan gimmick.
He did.
But it definitely wasn't very long. I think he's in like real estate or something now. But he very much. I think Jonathan is pretty much correct in saying that it kind of did kill the career.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So he's in fact he's Mark Kopani is his real name.
That's the name.
And he's actually a school principal.
Oh, there you go.
The school principal. He's currently the principal of Fulton Junior High in New York. And he actually did return to wrestling in 2018 at the Dynasty event King of Thrones.
Oh.
But he did retire in 2019. So he had a small run, and that was it.
And as I said, look, on the pro side of things, he was getting some nuclear heat. Like he really was getting some heat. Like,
yeah. Also, fun fact: did you know that Muhammad Hassan wrote a graphic novel called Assassin and Son with Shad Gaspar?
Oh, no, I did not.
Yeah, it's essentially it was won several awards for best graphic novel.
Foxy, why don't you ever do that?
You need to do that.
Yeah, you have to do that. That was brilliant.
That would be hilarious.
He just ran away and literally dived out the fucking road.
The thing is, we don't have an Irish Undertaker, and the closest one is fucking like him. So like, there's no way.
Foxy, you can do me. I'm meant to be a horror character. You can run away from me.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
It's perfect. Come on, get me over, Foxy, for fuck's sake.
Oh, I'll put you over. Don't worry.
Butter, you'll get yourself over. You don't need him.
I do need Foxy.
He needs to rub. That's what he needs.
Butter's real gimmick is codependence. That's
Yeah, that's not a gimmick. That's real life.
He's Gerry from fucking like Rick and Morty.
And you're my Beth.
Dirty. Now we're just bullying him.
Foxy's my Beth. We need each other.
Don't fucking give him that credit. That commando was very bad at choking.
Yeah.
No, it's almost as bad as my choke.
I always take solace in the fact that nothing will ever be as bad as that guy punching Dustin Rhodes in AEW, where he's just like,
And then he tried to play it off as like I was taking care of him. It's like, fuck off.
It's like,
You just didn't want to lay an accidental like potato in. That's all.
Yeah.
it's Dustin fucking Rhodes. He's gotten loads of them. He's fine. Don't worry about him. Jesus Christ.
He's supposed to be crazy though. He's supposed to be legitimately like crazy.
Yeah.
So
I've seen that.
I'm just thinking this as well, by the way. This is, when you do look back at this is such a strange phase of The Undertaker's career, where he's on SmackDown and he just throw a new stardom every 3 months and he tries to make something out of it. And the thing is, like, he works wonders with the likes of Randy Orton and perhaps to a much lesser extent Mr. Kennedy and MVP. But then you have feuds with the Great Khali, Heidenreich, Muhammad Hassan, and it's just such a hit and miss year, 2-3 years, and then eventually just go, right, let's just put the world title on him.
Oh no! Oh God, he has piano wire again. Oh God.
Sympathizers. Sympathize, they call it.
Like, do you know something? I was about to say, like, the match isn't all bad. Like, Hassan is fine in the ring. You know?
He's grand, yeah.
He did have the old cliche though of the camel clutch as his finisher.
That was ridiculous, like.
You know.
The fact as well, by the way,
Even a variation of the camel clutch would have done. How do you change the camel clutch?
Steiner recliner and it looks shit. You know?
You've heard the story though?
What?
That he actually he told Eddie Guerrero not to use it. The
To use
camel
what?
clutch.
All right.
The move that his father invented.
He told Eddie not to use it.
Yes. Yeah.
Bless.
And
Bless.
what pay-per-view was around that time? Oh, I think it was the Royal Rumble. And I think we know what happened to him in that. He got beat the fuck up by Stevie Richards, Eddie Guerrero, and Bob Holly.
Oh, if there was one person you don't want to be in the ring with when you know you're going to get into hiding, it's fucking Bob Holly.
Sparking people out.
Daniel Pewter may have something to say. That poor bastard.
No,
He
dead
deserved it.
as well. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he went in and he put a legit key lock on Kurt Angle, nearly broke his fucking arm. It's like, lad, you're meant to be working here. I know you were told it's a shoot, but it's obviously not a fucking shoot. Like, what are you
People
doing?
didn't fucking tell him about that.
Yeah, but
Like,
you
it's
have to be
it's
a bit
work.
clued into the business you're trying to get into, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know, like,
You'd think that, but no.
Some people are just fucking marks, Dennis.
oh, fucking Twitter has taught me one thing.
It's real to me, damn it.
Jesus. One chokeslam.
It's not even that, though. Doesn't he? Isn't there a big thing? He goes through the stage
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's coming, yeah. The big finale's coming up. But first, we must deal with the Ralabang. Similar to the thing.
The sympathizer band.
The rally band.
Yeah. That guy fucking ate those stairs. Have them for fucking breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh,
Boot to the face.
Go to the head.
oh, bollocks, no. Don't let him get his hands on a chair.
You bend it over your fucking head.
Ah, the Kennedy.
Oh,
man.
this will do it.
Oh.
This will do it.
Oh no. Oh. Through that table, but no.
No.
Just right in the fucking
As much.
good look. Poor Spanish lads. Jesus.
Come on.
Poor
It's not
Hugo.
good to the Spanish table eats shit. And now
Davari.
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 Davari, though, you know, even looking at him, the choke slam he hits on him is going to look fucking beautiful. Watch
He's a
now,
good
I'm
walker,
betting.
though.
Yeah.
Bless.
I really like Davari.
Oh.
Right in his arse.
Yeah.
That wouldn't feel good.
Nope.
Tombstone this bitch.
That guy was flighty.
That's a big guy.
I love it when it's nice and tight and it just
Yeah, nice and snug.
there's very little room in between the head and the mat. It's just perfect.
I'm not gonna lie,
It's-
lads. I really want to find out who these sympathizers were, because I guarantee you, we probably know who these guys are. Like,
Google that shit. Oh, Davari's gone through the table, lads.
Yeah. I still really like Davari. Like, I mean,
Oh no. Oh.
that's unique. I
And we
haven't
wonder
seen
why
that.
concussions are a thing.
I haven't seen that before.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. There's actually no.
Taker looks genuinely pissed off. I'm like, were they legitimately hurting him or something? Like fucking hell, because he's like. You know
I
the
was
look he
trying
had
to
in his
think of
face?
how you gimmick piano wire.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, no matter what you gimmick that up with, it's still gonna suck.
Like the look he had in his face when he was wrestling Goldberg, and you can tell he's pissed off. He's had moments of that in this match. You're like, well, I don't think the Undertaker was really happy with this.
Having know the Undertaker is a patriot.
I don't
Oh,
think
dear.
it's even with Hassan though. I think it's with the guys. I think he's okay with Hassan.
Yeah, he's grand.
'Cause I think Hassan can work. You know?
Well, except for that chokeslam.
Well, yeah. Well, he's probably blown up to fuck at this stage.
Oh,
we
here we
go.
go. Oh,
This is a great visual as well, though.
Now take note, this is how you do this bump, AEW. It's not a fake looking fucking...
Oh!
Beautiful.
Now, supposedly, Hassan missed the crash mat.
Oh, really?
Yes. So he was completely over. And this was
Because he went down at a high angle on that if he was coming down and missing the fucking mat.
Yeah, so apparently he was part of that class action lawsuit about concussion that Nowinski and a few others penned because of stuff like this.
No video proof though, fucker.
That's the thing, yeah. Well, they had stage hands there, so they were witnesses.
Yeah. So, with this one, Gerry, would you like to take the lead?
I'll go with this one. As we said, the start of the gimmick, it worked. It did work. But then, and the only reason it failed to work after that was, as you say, bad timing. Now, it was always going to be in bad taste what they did with terrorists and whatever, especially in America, because Jesus, they go crazy over there, for stuff like that. But was the fact with the 7/7 bombings, and which was really, really bad timing. Hassan himself, great worker, absolutely great worker, and I think if they'd have left the terrorism shit out of it, probably his star could have kept rising. But because of it was just simply bad timing. So half the gimmick good, half the gimmick really bad. So it's a hard one actually to score. I'm gonna go 8.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 8.
I echo Gerry's sentiments very much. It's stuff I said, and even when you were picking it, I said the same. Was that I enjoyed the gimmick when it started. He was over in the fact that he got legitimate heat. It wasn't go away heat. No, it was people were going to pay to see him get his ass kicked, which is what you want. He did his job well. When they paired Daivari with him, it was fantastic because Daivari is a great talker as well as a great worker. And he really kind of took it to that next level. I really, honestly, I can't stress enough, I really liked how it started because I thought it was a unique take on it. Somebody saying, I was just like you, and then you all turned your back on me. You all started accusing me because of your xenophobia, so fuck you all. I thought that was a great gimmick, a great reason for a heel to be a heel. Fantastic, really good, and I would have been interested to see where that would have led, because you could have gone a million different directions. Unfortunately, the direction they took was probably the worst direction you could have taken.
It's just confirming what everyone else thought of him.
Yeah. So, again, as Gerry said, it's a tale of two halves. The first half, if it was judged on that, I'd be giving this a 0 because I thought it was a great gimmick. But the terrorist thing, there's no illusion there. It's obvious what they were doing. It's not a misunderstanding. It's obvious what they were doing. And to not just end it on 7/7 and pretend we didn't not forgiving it, but pretending it didn't happen, but actually going ahead and bringing the guys out again.
Yeah.
It just sits wrong. So, and as Gerry said, a good worker. His heat was, again, fantastic heat. The crowd fucking hated him for the right reasons. But the terrorism thing is just awful. So I'm going to go 7.5. The promise was so much in the start, but then it just got fucked. Got fucked by whoever. It's almost like a different writer got their hands on it. Like one really good writer had it at the start and said, right, okay, this is what we're going to do. It's going to be this really genius thing. Or even the worker himself said it's going to be this really cool take, on xenophobia and like that. And then somebody else got it and went, Taliban! And that was it.
He was on SmackDown because I remember that's how it coincided. He was on Raw for a while, then disappeared, came back to SmackDown, and that's when he was a terrorist. Like, it could very well have been just from that binary.
Was that
shift.
when Heyman was running SmackDown?
Was it? It could have been,
No.
because I thought it was after. So this is 2005, I want to say. Could be wrong.
Oh,
But,
I'm not sure. Either way, yeah, relatively high, but I have a fondness for how it began and what it could have been.
Mm.
So
Okay.
for me, it was very interesting at the start because you gave your heel a legitimate motive for being the way he is, and then
Which is so often lacking.
yes,
True.
and he was a believable, like, and he believed what he was doing was right, which is all the makings of a good bad guy. If they had kept that way, it would have worked out better, and he probably would have come out of it, the other side a bit better. But obviously they didn't. They took a very very wrong turn there. The gimmick, no, the gimmick wasn't necessarily bad. It really wasn't, because you could see that there was the makings of something really good out of it. Just unfortunately, it was a victim of bad timing and bad direction.
Mm-hmm.
So the performers are just trying to do the best they can with what they're given and what they're allowed to do. So I'm actually it's not even going to be a high mark for me, because like I don't consider it a really bad gimmick. I as I said, so I'm going to give that a 3. To be honest.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Right.
There
So
you go.
there you have it. So again, I like this type of show because, like, in essence, to win, we have to get 3 people to agree with each other. So in that sense, like, obviously with your case there, like, that kind of takes me down to 3rd. So our winner of the bad gimmick for this round, at least, if we're not doing this again, is Beaver fucking Cleavage. Who knew that could win? Mystery to us all, but there you have it. Imposter
Nobody
Kane is
knew.
yeah. So there you go. There you have it, lads. We've crowned a bad gimmick for tonight.
Beaver Cleavage, a very deserving winner. And I do think I definitely did a lot of fun with this particular one. And as you mentioned, just to inform you as well, Gerry, we were saying that we had so much choice for this particular one, more so than any other one, really. That we may do part 2, we may do part 3, 4, 5, God knows. But please, folks, do let us know down in the comments below what you think is the worst gimmick. And chances are we might feature it in the next one, because I think there will be a next one. But there you have it. Worst gimmick, in our opinion, Beaver Cleavage, out of the choices that we had.
I'm glad it won. It's always important that Beaver Cleavage is on top.
I love the fact that I was talking about that. I said the line, "Nobody likes a messy beaver," and that's on the internet forever.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Imagine doing like a series of like this particular one, like worst gimmick, and then actually doing a competition between the winners of those episodes.
Oh, Niall Fox, you, sir, are onto a winner.
You could very well have given us a long-running series idea.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Hey, you're getting no royalties for that. You can fuck off.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So,
it's a thankless job.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Nerds Are Us. We will have one for you very, very shortly. Thank you to Gerry Soul, Niall Fox, Jonathan, and me. I'm here too.
Special thanks to me.
me.
For suggesting it.
Yeah.
All my idea.
He won his own gimmick, son of a bitch.
Yep. Listen, as I said to you,
he has to win something.
Bad gimmicks, that's something I know all about. All right, so hopefully see you again very soon. Bye, folks.